the Macedonians made up their mind and went on the offensive alongside us. Not long after, their massive legion breached the walls of Cyzicus. Although such an event typically would be good news, it also meant for us that our newly planned to be agricultural province was contested by a foreign power and temporary ally. I mean, it didn't stop us from progressing with our conquest of the province, as Sinope was still ruled by Paphlagonia, another lone city-state that we could force out of this war. Aristophanes used his tactical knowledge to break the garrison and coerce the rulers of the settlement to swap allegiances, thus becoming another region in our massive kingdom. Following this, Junior wasted no time in attacking the last Sardes capital. However, unexpectedly, the Rhodians, who we thought were stuck on their tiny island thanks to our armada, had actually made it to reinforce the town. It caused us to retreat, fearing we may not be able to hold the town for more than a month. No chance we'll waste lives like that. For an assault to make sense, the pharaoh was required with his newly formed army. We suspected we would stumble into the Rhodian army on our way north, but in reality we discovered 2 additional armies. This gave us a lot to think about. Should we fall back, attack the town, or perhaps encamp right in front of them to bait the Greeks into a field battle? Sadly, our fleets were running low on supplies, forcing us to break our blockade. However, instead of returning to side of replenishments, we saw an opportunity to move for Ephesus once again. The Sardes forces were inland and most likely soon to be dead. It was the perfect moment to strike, especially as our scheme came into fruition. However, it was the Rhodians who struck at our pharaoh, not the entire Sardes army. After having deployed in a forest to disguise our formation with swordsmen in the center and pikes on the flanks, we realized the Rhodians had to be crushed swiftly before the Sardes reinforcements arrived. So as a consequence, we wanted to use our newest tool, the war dogs. The hounds and their handlers rushed forward while the main army formed up into attacking position. Once we released the hounds, hell broke loose. We never fully formed a battle line, causing this to become one of the most confusing struggles I've ever participated in. Over time, we fought our way through the right flank, allowing us to create something that almost resembled a battle line. It was especially in the latter stages of this fight we saw how brilliant our elephants were to break up the fight, by spreading fear and chaos in the enemy ranks. It was a heroic victory from our side. It turns out leaving Britannia was the best thing to do for the pharaoh. Not long after, Paphlagonia made a bold attempt to retake Sinope. It failed, of course, but with us suffering unimaginably high numbers of casualties. Afterwards, we saw our attention turn towards Armenia again. Northern Anatolia was safe and Philopater had almost reached Fraspa. We just had to fend off the last few Paphlagonians roaming the land, alongside Macedonia. After that, we just required a few more locals to re-establish our army power level and support the prince. Thankfully, Junior safely made it back into friendly territory. From here, he would make his way down to the town we lost a few months ago, while his father the pharaoh made a gambit for Sardes instead. After having crushed their armies, it didn't seem like anything to me. Through his aggressive ways, the town was ours. The only bad news is we could still see the Sardes forces we expected to attack us earlier, roaming the region. So to make that decision a bit more complicated, we recaptured Ephesus as planned. While our army from Italy was replenishing on Alalia, our fleet had made it up to Genoa, where they, in a tight affair, defeated another Roman army. But the real struggle was about to take place right where the pharaoh was. The statistics were all but in our favor for this battle. However, it didn't change our determination to fight. Our Cretan archers stood safely within our own lines and barraged the incoming cavalry. Meanwhile, our pharaoh and his bodyguards rushed out to take down a single unguarded hostile commander. We encircled his position and crushed him from all sides. Some hostile cavalry tried to run to his rescue, but in vain, as we easily hammered them down as well. But the real MVPs so far is our 2 weakened pikemen, who bravely occupied an entire enemy army down one single street. It allowed us to send around our elephants to destroy the skirmishers and then run straight into the enemy lines. Our other beasts of war did almost equally a formidable job, as they were unleashed upon the world. Eventually, our cavalry battalion made their way around to reach the backside of the main enemy army to then perform their charges. Okay, I'm gonna cut it here. I was trying to make this last battle here an epic final stand for the Pharaoh, but the AI just wasn't good enough to defeat any of our forces, not a single unit really. It broke my immersion a lot, which is really bad, as this campaign already felt a bit dragged out to me already. Especially while you have to edit these as well, it can be kinda tough to write down the script, knowing that it's just the same over and over again. I kept playing for like 30 more minutes as I hoped Rome would attack their capital, their former capital, which we now occupied, or Carthage occupied, but we were in position to help. So we could have like an immersive and amazing defensive battle, as that has never happened before, not to me at least. And it didn't. They never attacked. I just sat around waiting for them to do something, but they just waited it out. So that turned out to be the final nail in the coffin for me, in terms of this campaign here at least. We didn't fully reach our goal in capturing all the wonders, but in order to conquer the last few ones, like the one in Sparta, Rhodes, the one in Thrace and Dacia, we will have to spend like 10 more hours or so, at least, which I'm not that keen on doing. Instead, I would do something a bit more fun for me as well, such as prepare for the next narrative campaign in a different game, instead of just Rome 2 all the time. And all I can say for now is that it will be in Total War Attila with the 1212 AD mod, which I know a lot of you like. But other than that, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So until then, see ya everyone.